Welcome to Whiskey After Dark. And when we say after dark, we're talking late. How late, you may ask? Well, if Paul Smith is watching this, we're talking 2 to 3 buttons type late. But I digress. Anyway, tonight we're going to have something a little bit special, and don't worry, I'll turn on these lights in just a second so you can see the goods. We're talking Jack Daniel's Single Barrel ×2. And yes, 2 different types of Jack Daniels. One of them Single Barrel Select, the other Single Barrel Select Barrel Strength. Now, maybe you've seen these, and maybe right now I should probably turn the lights on just so you can see everything a little bit better, including this ugly face. But 2 different bottles here. Maybe you can tell that they're a little bit sized differently. Well, one of these is not available in the Manitoba market, and that's this guy right here, the Single Barrel Strength. And this comes in 700 milliliters, and it's at 64.5%. Now, from my understanding, and me and my brother-in-law were talking about this, anything that's sold in 70 CLs, centiliters, or 700 milliliters, is meant for the European market. So if you ever see a Scotch or Irish whiskey or anything like that, that's 70 centiliters, or 700 milliliters, it's meant to only be sold in Europe. Anything that gets exported to North America, that's going to be in 750, like this guy. So this one is available in Manitoba, and this is just the regular Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select. So I bought this one, the bro-in-law bought this one from Alberta, and we tried them out the other day, and I figured I would just do a really quick analysis on the channel here, just so you can kind of see what we saw. So let's get right into it. With these big corks, you don't really get that good of a cork pop, but anyway. Also, these bottles are really nice. They're almost kind of like a decanter type bottle. So, let's see. And yes, I know they're rocks glasses, but whatever. This is late. This is so late. All the Glencairn glasses are dirty. They've all been used. They've all been thrown into the dishwasher. This is all that's left because it's so late. The party's over. The bar is closed. This is just what the staff has left. So you use what you got. If you got solo cups, you use solo cups. So what me and the brother-in-law found was that basically, and I don't want this to be a long review because again, it's so late, we should all be in bed by now. The sun's probably coming up in about 15 minutes, so I'll cut to the chase here. Basically, what we found is that the barrel strength, I gotta double check because I'm still not used to seeing this bottle. The barrel strength and this one, the single barrel, they're the same. They're exactly the same. It's just this one is basically a barrel strength. So because of that, you need, if you have a dropper, if you have one of these with the water in it, it takes about 10 drops of water, at least minimum, for the barrel strength to equal the regular Single Barrel Select. That's what we found. So it kind of depends whether, if you want it to last longer, even though the barrel or the bottle is smaller, so it probably equals out, then go with this one. If you like, and also, by the way, I don't know if you can tell, but the color here, obviously the barrel strength is going to be a deeper, richer color, not by much, but it is going to be there. So, the other thing I noticed is that even though this is basically 65%, it doesn't burn. Like, there is almost no burn there. You can tell it's strong, but there's no burn. So yeah, as I was saying, there's basically no burn there at the 65% barrel strength. And I was kind of expecting there to be, because a lot of times with barrel strengths, they are rougher, tougher, because they are that higher proof. So basically the whole idea behind that barrel strength is you're getting an unencumbered, not defiled whiskey. It's right out of the barrel, exactly how it was created, and it's up to you to be able to dilute it with droppers or with water in a spoon, however you want to do it, an ice cube, if that's your thing, although some purists would say that bruises a whiskey. I don't usually almost ever drink anything on the rocks because it's just going to be too much water. You can't control it. I much prefer using a dropper. You can have way more control over it that way. But basically that's what the whole idea of a cask strength or barrel strength whiskey is that you dilute it and therefore you have the bottle last longer because you're either pouring less of it, or if you're pouring the same amount you normally would, you're just pouring less drinks overall. Say if you normally would pour 2 or 3 drinks, you're only pouring 1 or 1.5. So basically, well, you know what, I'll jump into this one. So this is just the regular one. Again, this is 750 milliliters, which I guess would be 26 ounces if you're south of the 49th parallel. A lot smoother on the palate. There's basically no burn at all. I mean, again, this one didn't really have a burn, but it was that more intensity, if you know what I'm talking about. If you had barrel strength, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't, just go out and buy one. Buy any barrel strength. It'll be a great way for you to test it out, but that's basically what I'm saying, is that this one is just diluted more. Again, that's why the color is a little bit lighter. And again, because they're 50 milliliters difference, it's almost negligible, or like they're going to equal out. So yeah, I would say this one is just a little bit more pleasurable to have, again, just because it's already diluted in the glass bottle, versus this one isn't. You have to do this. I thought it was worthwhile that it does have the bottling date and the barrel number on here. So this one, the gold label barrel strength, the bottling date was November 22nd, 2021. And then mine, the single barrel select, was filled on March 15th, 2022. So it's currently July 2nd today. So that's pretty good. Like I was actually surprised when I bought this and I brought it home and I actually looked at the date. Like that's pretty dang new. So that's pretty impressive in its own right. I mean, I guess it's whiskey, so it's not like it really matters. But so I'll just read on the back of the gold label. It says, specifically selected for their depth of flavor, these barrels are never mingled but bottled individually in very limited quantities for those who appreciate a pure taste experience. And that's already what I said. If you want the pure unadulterated taste, go with the cask strength barrel select. Versus the single barrel select, which is again the normal one. It says single barrel select Tennessee whiskey is the signature offering in our single barrel collection with subtle notes of caramel, spice, bright fruit notes, and sweet aromatics. So again, it's a Tennessee whiskey, it's not a bourbon. This is very nice. I would totally buy this again. I would like to compare Gentleman Jack to it just because I haven't had Gentleman Jack in probably 10 years. I can't remember what it's like. But yeah, and these aren't that bad of a price. Like this one was only 60 some Canadian, and this one in Alberta was around the same. So I definitely think they're worthwhile. There's something a little bit different to add to the collection. If you can pick one up, I definitely would. It just is up to you whether you want the cask strength and want to dilute it, or like something stronger, or if you like the more regular one. So again, thanks for tuning in after dark here. It's time to go feed the roosters because the sun's going to come up anytime, and we'll see you in the next one. I gotta be able to see myself. I have no idea if the card has failed or if thing's still recording. Oh good, it's still recording. Well, that's at least something.